All right, if you're a cricket fan, you already know the drill on the pitch. But for this explainer, we're totally shifting our perspective. We're going to look at this massive cricket league not just as a sporting tournament, but as a meticulously designed financial empire. Time to put on our business hats and really dig into the mechanics of this corporate juggernaut. To really grasp the sheer scale we're dealing with here, let's compare two absolute titans of Indian entertainment. Think about the total box office collection for the entire Indian film industry. We're talking Bollywood, regional cinema, the whole shebang. That massive cultural force brings in about 13,395 crores. Huge, right? But then, look at how that absolutely pales in comparison to our cricket league's business footprint. It sits at a mind-blowing 50,000 crores. It's almost hard to wrap your head around.
Actually, there's a quote from our source data that hits the nail right on the head. It says, IPL is just not cricket. It is the most expensive corporate structure in the world. And honestly, that's the absolute crux of it. We really need to stop looking at this purely as athletes chasing a ball and start recognizing it as a total masterclass in modern corporate structuring and wealth generation.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at how it's bigger than Bollywood. Then, we'll break down the central revenue engine, followed by the franchise business model. After that, we've got a case study on the Chennai Super Kings. And finally, we'll wrap up with the economic ripple effect.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, bigger than Bollywood. Valuation context.
So think about literally every single movie ticket sold across India in a given year. Every massive blockbuster, every sold-out opening weekend. That entire industry generates a box office collection of 13,395 crores. I mean, it is a staggering amount of money, entirely driven by consumer passion.
But as this brilliantly illustrates, the total business footprint of the league we're analyzing completely dwarfs Bollywood. Sitting at a massive 50,000 crores, I mean, wow. It completely redefines what a lucrative entertainment property actually looks like in the modern age.
Moving right along to Section 2, the central revenue engine, top-down wealth. So, the central revenue pool sits at an enormous 9,678 crores. And you might be wondering, where exactly does all that cash come from? Well, it's primarily fueled by corporate heavy hitters. The really big money comes directly from massive broadcasting rights, highly visible title sponsorships, like Tata, you've seen it everywhere, and lucrative official partnerships with companies like Dream 11. This is literally B2B revenue at its absolute peak.
Now, what's really fascinating about this, and it's a bit of a reality check, honestly, is that the things everyday fans interact with the most only make up a tiny sliver of the pie. Stadium tickets to watch the games? Just 3%. Official merchandise like team caps and jerseys? A mere 1%. The core financial engine isn't actually fueled by our ticket stubs. It's fueled by those massive corporate broadcasting and sponsorship deals we just talked about.
Okay, so where does all that central money actually go? The central board takes a hefty 75% cut of this revenue, and they use it as a massive corporate war chest. Sure, they fund the actual tournament operations and the shiny trophy itself, but it also bankrolls the national Indian team salaries, builds junior academies, and completely subsidizes the overarching development of domestic cricket across the entire country. It's essentially a massive investment into their future supply chain of talent.
Let's pivot a bit and look at Section 3, the franchise business model. Corporate branches.
A massive 45% of the overall revenue distribution eventually trickles down to the individual team franchises. And this is the absolutely crucial capital injection that fuels their localized business operations. It allows each franchise to essentially act as a highly profitable, independent company operating right under the league's overarching umbrella.
To see exactly how this works, let's dive into Section 4, Case Study on CSK and their localized operations.
When you're looking at a fiercely beloved team like Chennai, the real question becomes, how does a corporate entity, which is what a franchise is, convert that raw, emotional fan loyalty into tangible, trackable revenue streams?
Well, it starts with recognizing assets. To you and me, a team's jersey is just a uniform, but to a franchise, it represents 100% premium branded real estate for localized sponsorships. Literally every square inch of that fabric is a mini billboard, meticulously sold off to sponsors who are desperate to piggyback on the team's massive localized reach.
And the dominance goes even further. If we look at CSK's specific market dominance across their 15 home matches, they completely monopolize their local environment. They command an incredible 80% share of home merchandise sales. This kind of hyper-local economic dominance is usually driven by the intense visibility and brand power of key players on the team. It is just a brilliantly executed localized retail strategy, proving without a doubt that a team's brand can basically run an entire regional economy.
All right, let's zoom back out for our final part, Section 5, the economic ripple effect, societal impact.
So, we actually have a bit of a math problem here. If the direct league and franchise revenues sit somewhere around 13,000 crores combined, how on earth do we account for the full 50,000 crore valuation we talked about at the very beginning? I mean, where is all that extra value actually coming from?
Well, here's the secret. That staggering balance of 37,000 crores. It isn't direct cricket revenue. It's not the TV deals, and it's certainly not jersey sales. It is the massive societal footprint left in the wake of the tournament. This right here represents a gigantic secondary economy that is entirely dependent on the league's existence.
Think of this 37,000 crore ripple effect as a massive localized economic stimulus package that hits every single season. It pours money directly into local hotels that are housing traveling fans, city restaurants that are hosting massive viewing events, and the wider hospitality sector catering to a huge influx of tourism and corporate hospitality. The league isn't just playing games, it is literally temporarily transforming city economies.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, you really have to ask yourself, the next time you tune in for a match, are you just a sports fan enjoying a game? Or are you a consumer actively fueling the most expensive, meticulously designed corporate machine in the world? It definitely makes you look at the game in a whole new light, doesn't it?